I went in thinking, this is going to be difficult. I'm going to be uncomfortable. They're going to make me say things or do things that I'm not comfortable doing yet because I don't have the teaching experience. When in reality, it was laid back but productive because we were still able to have some of these difficult conversations and difficult techniques that might be hard when you're a first-year teacher, but in a productive manner where it wasn't intimidating at all. In fact, it was rewarding.
That name speaks for itself. All teachers, whether you are a new teacher, whether you are a second career professional, whether you are a veteran teacher, whether you are a teacher just somewhere in the middle, whether you teach athletics, whether you teach physics, this is where you will get that understanding of how to directly impact student achievement. And that is so important, and it is so worth your time.
Through Extending Excellence, I was energized with the new strategies and things I was learning with the different programs we were implementing. And Catherine, one of my mentees, showed me different technologies she was using in her classroom, and I was able to share some of the different strategies I've used over the years that have worked. And with that, you're building that bridge from one generation of teachers to the next generation of teachers, and that's so important because we can learn so much from each other.
Because in your first few years of teaching, it's super overwhelming. Sometimes you feel like you're drowning. So to have someone that's there for you, especially not at your school, I really like the idea of being able to collaborate with, since Polk County is so spread out, collaborating with people that have different ideas, different backgrounds, different demographics at their school to collaborate with and bring to the table.
Just having somebody there to say, hey, I was there, I'm here for you, anything you need, and not feeling so nervous, because sometimes when you go, going to admin is kind of scary sometimes, especially when you're brand new to the school. So having somebody that I felt was more on my level that I could talk to, so I wanted to make sure I was also that for other people.
The biggest impact for me was to see teachers week by week gain that confidence in their classroom and taking that criticism and just really turning it to something beautiful, and then turning it around and taking those risks in their classroom with their students.
Thank you, and I will now call this board meeting to order for March 8th, 2022. And if we could begin with having Pastor Drew Bennett from Redeemer City Church come up to lead us in an invocation. And if you'll all stand for the invocation and then the pledge.
Pray with me. Heavenly Father, in your word, you command your people to pray for those in authority over us, so it is a great privilege to do so this afternoon for these men and women who fulfill such an important role in our community. Theirs is a high position, and so I pray that you would help them lead with humility and genuine concern for the welfare of the people, and particularly the children of Polk County. We know that this is a hard job, a thankless job, and so we give thanks for them. We know you care about their work, so cause them to care and go about their job with the goal of doing the most good possible. Give them wisdom to make good decisions, courage to act accordingly, conviction to act according to conviction and not convenience, creativity and perseverance to not settle for easy solutions to complex problems, and integrity to lead in such a way that builds trust. We ask for you to come and to be with them as they meet and deliberate this afternoon, that they might listen well and work together, and with parents and teachers and administrators, make the schools in Polk County great. We pray this in your name and for your sake. Amen.
Amen. And if you'll all join me in saying the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. And I will now call the meeting to order and accept the school board agenda for March 8th, 2022. Do I have a motion to accept, Superintendent Hyde, do we have any revisions to the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, members of the board, staff, and community members, we do. Item H1, board member travel, is an added item due to the timeliness of travel that's going to take place. Item Q3, the reorganization discussion of school and central office positions. We removed the auditor's reorganization attachment. That item will be brought back in April. It was simply workshopped today. And then item L2, under non-instructional, we updated the attachments. That concludes revisions to the board meeting.
Thank you, Superintendent Hyde. And I will seek a motion to approve the agenda for this evening.
So moved. Second.
Ms. Cunningham and Ms. Miller, any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the motion, all those opposed signify by saying nay. And the motion carries. And next, we'll move on to our special recognitions portion of the agenda. And Superintendent Hyde, will you lead us through our special recognitions?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, my pleasure. At this time, I'd like to ask School Board Member Lisa Miller to step down for special recognitions. Additionally, I'd like to ask Ms. Jessica Anderson, TRST Program Specialist over Agriculture, to please come forward for the Agri-Fest recognition.
Good evening.
I am here on behalf of not only workforce and my job as teacher resource specialist with our ag programs, but also in conjunction with the Polk County Farm Bureau and University of Florida IFAS Extension Service. The three of us work together to put together the Agri-Fest event. This is the 33rd year of Agri-Fest, and we are excited that we have never missed a year. And so amid all of the things that have happened over the last several years, we've been able to pivot and shift and go from an in-person event to virtual for a little while, and now we're back to a hybrid event this year. So if you're not familiar with Agri-Fest, this is our agriculture advocacy education for our fourth graders district-wide. We typically serve 6,000 students over a 2-week time period at the Extension office. Due to the hybrid nature of this event this year, we will have 1,700 students in person and around 1,300 students virtually in fourth grade completing these agricultural lessons through their science time in class. So we're really excited for that. We're excited with our partnerships with Mosaic, Florida Forest Service, the Extension Service, and many others that help to make this event come together. So on behalf of the Farm Bureau, and our sponsor was Peace River Packing, they provided some citrus as a thank you to the board, and I put that over in the Live Oak room for you. But really, I'm just here to thank you for your support of our continued Agri-Fest after 33 years.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Anderson does an amazing job, quite frankly. I met her at the Polk Fair and was very impressed. She was very knowledgeable, very supportive of me, gave us opportunities to meet students, meet some of our supporters. What an amazing event that we host there every year, so thank you for all that you do, quite honestly. Thank you. And I get oranges. Fantastic. Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Susan Copeland, Executive Director of the Polk Education Foundation, to come forward for her donor recognition.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for allowing us to be here yet again. I bring with me today Matt Mucci. He's the Regional Director for External Affairs for AT&T. And AT&T has been a partner of the foundation since 2009, and since that time, they've driven $25,000 towards sponsorship of various events like the Hall of Fame and our Stepping Out for Education event. But AT&T also has a foundation, and their foundation provides the programmatic support. And as an education foundation, we're eligible to apply for funding through our state agency, who then carries out a competitive grant process with AT&T funds. So if we've been fortunate enough, and Matt's not been a judge, to receive funds several years, actually to the tune of $66,000 over the last few years. And this year's program, it was a $5,000 grant that once we were awarded, we had already selected a program at Mulberry High School to receive those funds. So at their school, they do a project called Recycling Plastic to Product. And it provided students with the equipment and training to design, mill, and mold a manufactured product from the recycled plastic that they collect. So it is just as cool as it sounds. So not only are they learning those skills, maybe someday that will help them in a future job, but they're working towards receiving an industry certification. And we all know that those credentials will definitely help them get a better job right out of high school. So all of AT&T's grants have always had that emphasis sort of on the school to work, or gaining those skills that will help students get the skills they need to be more employable. And one of the components has been that the schools partner with a community partner who then was filtered in or webbed into the instruction that was given, so students were learning from people in the community as well. So I just wanted to brag on them and let you know the things that they have done. One of the things I remember Matt and I visiting, which was super fun for me especially too, was we went to the medical academy at Bartow High School, and they had the simulated dummies, you know, the ones that have the vitals, and they moan and they groan and they say, oh, help me, help me. So that was really, really cool to see. I think we both enjoyed that. But he likes to go along with those visits and see what's going on with AT&T funding. He's also a board member now of the Polk Education Foundation. He gives his time and his talents. He's introduced me to countless people in the community. He was also a celebrity dancer in our Stepping Out for Education event several years ago, raised a whole lot of money doing that for us. But I just wanted to thank Matt publicly, AT&T publicly, and have Mrs. Miller present him with a certificate of appreciation.
Yeah, if you don't mind, just to say a couple words. First of all, I think in my 10 years with AT&T, this is the first time I've been recognized like this, so this is pretty special. And I will say it's relatively easy in my job to support public education. Obviously, it's a great cause, but it really starts with those around this table, the superintendent, the board members, and of course, Susan and Shannon. Susan says I don't have a lot of say of where those grants get distributed, but truth be told, there is a lot that comes home to my home county. So like I said, it's a lot easier to do with such great representation. So Susan and Shannon and the entire Polk Education Foundation staff deserve a lot of credit for all those programs that AT&T has supported over the years. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And last, but certainly not least, I would like to invite Ms. Jeanette Crowley, Senior Coordinator of Strategic Planning and Partnerships, to come forward for the Focus on Excellence Employee Recognition campaign.
Thank you. Good to see all of you again. As a reminder, Focus on Excellence is a year-long campaign to spotlight the important contributions of all Polk County Public School employees. Each quarter, the program will accept nominations for a different group of employees. A committee will select 5 employees per quarter as winners to receive prizes from our generous sponsors, as well as attend a special luncheon. In addition to being recognized at a school board meeting, they will also be highlighted on the district's social media channels, website, and internal and external newsletters. Over the course of the year, we will recognize and highlight a total of 20 employees. Our first group of honorees that we recognized in September were within the clerical, custodial, maintenance, and warehouse departments. Our second group of honorees that we recognized in December were within the positions of paraeducator, professional technical, and administrator. Tonight, we're recognizing our employee group number 3. Those employees are within the transportation, school nutrition, and non-classroom teachers. Nominations for employee group 3 were submitted in January. We had 165 nominations within these groups. Then it went down to 85, and then it went to 20, and then we got our 5 winners. Next week, we're hosting an appreciation luncheon for the winners, along with district leadership and program sponsors. Each winner will receive a prize package valued at over $500, courtesy of our generous sponsors. Thank you to the following businesses who have partnered with us for the Focus on Excellence campaign. Chick-fil-A, which they are proudly supporting and sponsoring 4 appreciation luncheons, CP Investment Advisors, Fleet Feet, formerly Fitness Running and Fitness, Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa, the Lakeland location, Fields Insurance and Financial Group, Image Depot Express, Lakeland Magic, Logo Out Loud, Public Supermarkets, Inc., and Rhino Smash Sauce Company. Tonight, each winner will receive a plaque that was produced by the students in the fabrication lab at Daniel Jenkins Academy in Haines City. Now, a little bit about each of our winners. On the nomination form, the nominator must submit and share an example of how the employee exemplifies excellence, how they illustrate teamwork, and how they put students first in their everyday work. The narrative or the story is the most important piece. After the 5 winners were notified, I asked each of them to follow up with this question to me. What do you love most about your job in working for Polk County Public Schools? Representing our transportation group is Denisha Roberson, who is a bus driver in Area 1. Denisha, can you please come forward? So when asked, what does Denisha love most about her job? She didn't just give me one reason, she gave me multiple reasons, but I'm gonna share one reason of why she loves her job. She said, when I think about the rewards of my job, I could say the hours, the holidays, spring break, and summers off. Believe it or not, that is not the main reason why I love my job. I love my job for the interaction I have with the children. I love pulling up to their bus stops and seeing them waiting for the bus. Some patiently, some angry, some sleepy, and some eager. I love the opportunity to be involved in their future because, frankly, they are our future. Their future is what is important because the past has already happened. We as adults can change the way a student feels about life by the way we talk to them and the way we treat them. Some of them come from backgrounds where they do not have any positive interaction in the morning or in the afternoon. Congratulations. I asked her if she'd like to say a few words, and she said no. Congratulations. Wait, stay up here, yeah. Representing our school nutrition group. Are you ready? Inva Pabellion, who is an acting school nutrition manager at Sand Hill Elementary. On the nomination form, her nominator said, how she exemplifies excellence is, it says, Ivy has stepped up to make sure our lunchroom runs smoothly. She is still wearing a smile on her face and always makes sure the staff and students are well fed and smiling too. She simply stepped up when she was needed to. She refuses to let chaos cause any disruption to the students' lunch. And when asked what does she love most about her job in working for Polk County Public Schools, she said, "The thing I love most about my job is the joy of the children when it is one of their favorite foods and they tell you, 'Thank you, it's delicious.' That fills me with great joy." Congratulations. Representing our non-classroom teacher group is Shannon Comby, who is a program director for Polk Education Foundation. Come on up, Shannon, which we heard some great words about her earlier. When asked how does the employee put students first in their everyday work, Shannon's nominator said, "Everything done at the Polk Education Foundation is ultimately done to help students, even when working with teachers. In their grant program, Shannon has worked over the years to modify grant applications so they are finding out the population of students that will be served and how the funds will be used to impact those learners. The final report format she uses collects that data, including pre- and post-test information, to share the impact donor funds have made on students. For the free teacher market, she works tirelessly to get new supplies, regularly taking her personal vehicle or driving a county van to pick up donations. She has implemented contests for teachers to win extra supply items and collaborates with the ESE students housed at the district to give them training opportunities and also gain their help in making sure the free teacher market is full of classroom supplies when teachers come in. The Polk Education Foundation gets the best thank you notes and how students are impacted by the free teacher market, and that is thanks to Shannon. Thank you, Shannon.
Thank y'all, this is a great honor.
Representing our non-classroom teacher group, is Bobby Daly, who is lead teacher for the Vision Impaired program. When asked, how does Bobby exemplify excellence? Bobby always goes above and beyond. As a lead teacher for the Vision Impaired program, she is always available for the many questions that teachers, LEAs, administrators may have, attends meetings and trainings to ensure our teachers and programs stay up to date on any changes, provides monthly trainings in order to develop and maintain a quality program, etc. She does this all on top of her regular duties as a TVI and without any supplemental pay. Stories that come to mind when thinking of excellence do not involve just trainings or coworkers, but her students. Bobby has a heart for her kiddos. She would go to the ends of the earth to provide them with whatever they need. I remember a few years back, she had a student who lived in an impoverished environment. He often did not have electricity, food, or appropriate clothing. Bobby helped with providing all of those things and delivered them in person. She took that same student to Shands Hospital to see an eye specialist because his family could not, and it was important that he go. She has done these same things for many of her students because she cares for them as if they were her own. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, representing our non-classroom teacher group is Jason Rogers, Student Success Coach at Bartow Senior High. When asked how does Jason illustrate teamwork, Jason works hand in hand with teachers, school counselors, and different leadership teams with one goal in mind: getting these hardworking students in Polk County to become amazing contributing members of society with a diploma in hand. He helps with testing, scheduling, conferences, and so much more. He wears many hats and wears them with pride. He also communicates regularly with families via phone, meetings, or home visits. It is important to him and for the students that all guardians understand the progression requirements and what readiness strategies are needed for success. When asked what does Jason love most about his job and working for Polk County Public Schools, he said being involved in the why, helping students problem solve and create a plan for success. Congratulations. Can we have one last congratulations for each of them? I'm so happy for them. So I hope you all will begin to enjoy the spotlight because you're certainly deserving of the recognition, and we look forward to putting the focus on you. Keep being the amazing people you are of Polk County Public Schools. The Focus on Excellence program was created to inspire others within our organization to stop and simply thank one another for the job that they do, as well as improve our culture and morale. And we're doing just that. Employees who've been nominated are sharing their gratitude on social media, calling, and emailing me. Each nominated employee receives a special gift of appreciation from us. It's truly been motivating and encouraging seeing their love for Polk County Public Schools. The nomination window for our next and final group of the 2021 through 2022 school year is April 11th through 22nd, and the employee group consists of our classroom teachers and 12-month teachers. I can't thank our employees enough who have taken the time to fill out the nomination forms to recognize their fellow employees. The narratives we received this year, or year-round we've received, have been phenomenal. And the program doesn't accept self-nominations, so it's coworkers nominating their coworkers. Without these nominations, we don't have applications to review, and we don't have winners to recognize. So I'll be back in June to recognize our final group for this school year. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this concludes special recognitions for today.
Thank you, Superintendent Hyde. We'll now move on to the public comment section of our agenda, and these are going to be the public comments for items on the agenda as adopted at the start of the meeting. Before we begin, I would like to welcome the public and go over our public comment process and the opportunities for this evening. We will have 2 opportunities for public comment. The first will be for items on this evening's agenda to be voted upon. At the end of the meeting, we will have an additional opportunity for public comment on items that are not on this evening's agenda. To register to speak, community members must fill out a speaker card in the lobby prior to the meeting. All speakers will be given 3 minutes. The clock will give you a warning sound when you have 1 minute left and when you have 30 seconds left. Please give your name for the record when you come up to the mic. And as a reminder, public comments are an opportunity for us to hear your thoughts and comments. This is not a question and answer session. However, if you are seeking additional information, I encourage you to contact any of us or the superintendent's office outside of the board meeting, and we would be happy to have deeper conversations. So I have 1 card for items on the agenda, and that will be Catherine Amon. And if you'll just come up to the green box, and the mic will be able to pick you up.
Hello.
And you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, my name is Catherine Ammon. I live at 4629 Little Grove Lane, Lakeland, Florida. I'm a graduate at the IB of Bartow class of 2013. I'm addressing you today in opposition to the proposed change, which I'm going to be calling Q3, to the position held by the current head of school at Bartow IB. After graduating with my IB diploma, I graduated from Ohio State with a bachelor's and 3 minors in 2017, and Stetson Law with a Juris Doctor in 2020. I was joined in my graduation from Ohio State by my brother, who was in the IB class of 2015, who received his bachelor's after only 2 years of undergraduate courses, thanks to the coursework he completed at IB. After all this time in learning, I've still never taken a course on public speaking, but I have cherished my high school education experience and hope to someday somehow repay the Bartow IB teachers and students for the future they gave me. I can't do that if the Bartow IB program is dissolved by a staffing decision that spreads this 25-year concentrated effort too thin. The IB Bartow community, like our school district, has sought means to increase student accessibility to the IB programs, superiorly effective and high-quality high school and post-secondary education opportunities. However, Q3 could accomplish the very opposite, as it could actually serve as a means to disqualify IB-BHS from its status as an IB World School, robbing the students, their families, and the community of that accessibility, and working against the district's interest in providing high-quality education to all. I'm pleading for the IB Bartow head of school to retain her title and the school's independence. To me, the value the IB head of school brings to its administration, the teachers, students, and community at large, and the cost of affecting even one student's ability to complete the IB-BHS program are far greater than the $132,000 financial impact proposed by Q3. This possible consequence is what brings me in front of you today. This one staffing decision could negatively affect the hundreds of decisions made at IB-BHS each day to continue the work that produces this value to our community. It could mean students drop out of the program for lack of support, teachers who have been and are at BHS become overwhelmed and unable to meet the IBO standards, which are very rigorous, and our community loses hundreds of graduates that are empowered and incentivized to give back to our district. I obviously hold my high school education very near and dear, but it, more than me, it's continued to be a blessing in the 12 years since I graduated. The graduates, who are all over the country, maintain and foster connections with each other, the staff, and the Polk County community. They open local businesses, and they contribute diverse, thoughtful perspectives and solutions.
Thank you. All right, and we will now move on to the approval of the minutes. So the first set of minutes we have are from February 22nd, 2022's school board meeting, and I will seek a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second. Heard Mr. Wilson and Ms. Fortney. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. And the second set of minutes that we have will be from February 22nd, 2022's work session. And I will seek a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And I have Ms. Fortney and Ms. Miller. All those in, any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. We'll now move on to approval of the consent agenda. And I believe that there were a couple items that Superintendent Hyde, you were going to have addressed for us with the C318 and, K2 and K3, the expansion projects for both Garner and Southwest Middle.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, members of the board. So back in 2020, the board initially approved and provided authorization to move forward with planning and development of Garner Elementary School and Southwest Middle School renovations and/or replacements. At that time, which, as is customary, facilities and maintenance provides a best estimate according to current costs and understandings. Since that time, there have been some changes to the initial proposals, and what you have before you today is not reflective of changes in pricing in as much as changes to the initial proposal and scope of the programs, and here's why. Garner Elementary School was increased, has seen a slight increase, and this, what you see before you, is the guaranteed maximum price that we may not exceed. Ms. Usher is adamant, as she has been, that we will incur additional savings throughout the process once it goes out finally for a competitive bid. But right now, the guaranteed maximum price for that proposal is $39,669,000. Now, part of that is because the decision was made not only to replace the school, but to renovate certain aspects of the current facility. The second proposal is for Southwest Middle School, and the final price, or the guaranteed maximum price, is currently at $48,611,000, or approximately $612,000. The reason why there was a change to that program, to that school, was we were approached by the county and asked to harden that school as a hurricane shelter. This topic's come up before with the board, that right now the predominance of our schools that have been built for hurricane shelters are on the eastern side of the school district. This helps push some additional sheltering opportunities further towards the center of our school district. So that's where the additional costs came in. So we did harden the building to include, and it did take approximately a year for the architects and engineers to work through that process. So that's why you see an increase there. So there have been no other increases as far as costs associated with this. But again, this is our guaranteed highest cost for this building. Again, Ms. Usher is adamant that we will see some savings as a result of the competitive bid process as far as our next steps. So I know that, we want to be transparent. We don't want this to be perceived to be increased costs resulting from change orders or over costs or underestimating. That's not the case here. Both of these are well justified, and I believe the board, again, trying to provide transparency to both the board and our community. So thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Hyde. And I will now seek a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Allen and Mrs. Miller, any discussion?
I have a question.
Ms. Fields.
Superintendent Hyde, so on the Southwest Middle Campus for hardening, did we get any financial support from the county?
We do not. Some counties do. Polk County historically does not.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Fields. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. The next item on our agenda will be Q1, the 2022 MSAP grant. And the recommended action is motion to approve writing a $15 million 5-year competitive magnet grant to add 3 new and revised 2 existing magnet schools. And I'll seek a motion.
Move approval?
Second.
Ms. Cunningham and Mr. Wilson, any discussion? Ms. Miller.
I have discussion. I just want to make sure, I know this was on a time frame, we had to get this done today, but because transportation is such an issue, I'm not sure how much they're involved in the planning process of accepting these grants. But the next time this rolls around, which I'm sure we'll have more of these opportunities, I would like to see some kind of report what the transportation would look like or the difference to transportation. I think they should be included in the conversation because we work in such a deficit. That's my only comment.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Ms. Cunningham?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like to express my sincere appreciation to our staff. They've done a wonderful job bringing this to us so quickly because of the deadline that was imposed upon them. A $15 million grant for our students to create elementary and middle programs through, I think it's 7 different schools. 2 happen to be in my district, I think is absolutely commendable. Anytime we take the time to be able to write a grant, to be able to impact students in a positive way. In my 2 schools, we're going to be putting in a elementary Cambridge program and a middle school Cambridge program in the east side of the county. In Boone Middle School, in Bethune Elementary School and Boone Middle, Daniel Jenkins Academy. So I'm really excited about that. I'm excited that the staff, because the timeline was so short, they didn't just say, hey, we don't have the time. They went ahead and said, hey, let's go for it and try to see if we could get that $15 million. And it is $15 million over 3 years, I believe. Is it over 3 or over 5? I think maybe over 5 years. In any event, it's going to be an awesome opportunity if we are in fact awarded that grant. And I just want to thank our staff for going above and beyond with the short timeline. And I just really look forward to being able to celebrate 2 new programs, at least in the 2 schools in my district. So thank you so much on behalf of the children. That concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And Ms. Fortney?
Yeah, I just encourage folks to watch the work session. There was a lot of discussion on that in general. But, you know, my goal is to make sure that all of our schools are a choice school. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Fortney. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. The next item on the agenda will be item Q2, Berkeley Accelerated Middle School Contract Modification. And I'm seeking a motion to approve the Berkeley Accelerated Middle School's contract modification.
Move approval.
Second.
Mr. Wilson and Dr. Allen. And any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. Next on our agenda is the Q3 reorganization discussion of school and central office positions. And I believe, and Superintendent Hyde, these are still listed as Group 1 and Group 2. Are we still bringing Group 1 tonight? And your recommendation is not to approve?
I'm still waiting on additional information, so I may bring that back. So at this point, I would say yes, the recommendation is not to approve at this time. I did email staff who are doing the analysis to determine whether or not their projected enrollment would hit the 600 mark, and then we could authorize it, but I could bring that back in April. But at this time, I wouldn't authorize based off their enrollment. Their current enrollment, as we discussed for that school in particular,
587.
587.
is current 584, is as of today. But they just did auditions, so we know that number, to your point earlier, Dr. Allen, that number may rise above 600. So I'd like some time to look at that. So unfortunately, as far as timing's concerned for this evening, the recommendation would be not to approve the assistant principal 12-month from an AP 11. However, I would be more than happy to bring that back in April at the subsequent board meeting.
Mr. Bridges,
Rather
how would you
than-
like us to do that?
I was going to say, rather than couching it as a negative recommendation, it might be cleaner to simply withdraw that item from consideration this evening.
So can I seek a motion then to withdraw Group 1 from the recommendation for this evening?
I think the superintendent can announce that he's.
okay.
I would do that.
he-
I am
Okay.
officially
he can announce
withdrawing
it.
item
Okay.
1.
And that way, you're not voting on a negative recommendation.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing that Group 1 has been withdrawn, we'll now move on to vote on Group 2, which the recommended action is to approve the reorganization of school and central office positions. Group 2 is changing the assistant principals to head of schools and/or head of program, based on the IBs will be head of schools, and then any other programs will be head of programs in this recommendation.
Madam Chair, if I may, since there was spoken to earlier, this is a good opportunity for anybody who did not pay attention to the workshop or was unable to participate in the workshop earlier. It's important to note that we maintain the integrity of all of our programs by providing greater level of autonomy. That was miscommunicated previously. So they maintain integrity and autonomy over their budgeting, over their staffing, over the program area. There is still a connection back to the main school. However, I believe we addressed that in great detail earlier today. And because IB recommends a head of school, we maintain that title and designation for them. The job description has been revised and updated and attached, as has the cost analysis for those position changes. And then this will be something, as we bring the reorganization recommendations at the end of the school year, the head of program will be a discussion for the 74 other program areas, and as we discussed earlier today.
Thank you, Superintendent Hyde. And I will seek a motion before we go into discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Cunningham and Mr. Wilson. And any discussion? Ms. Cunningham.
Yes, Superintendent Hyde, underneath the Group 2, we discussed having the two IB programs called Head of School. And I noticed under Haines City IB, it still says Head of Program. That should be Head of School to match Bartow.
We will make that correction now.
If you'd be so kind. Thank
Yes,
you
ma'am.
before we vote. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Any further discussion? Ms. Fortney.
Dr. Allen was next, I think.
Ms. Fortney.
Yeah, again, like Mr. Hyde said, I encourage you to watch. I know the work session, I know we are working on equity across the district. I get it. However, I won't be supporting this.
And Dr. Allen.
Yeah, just as a point of discussion as well, I was curious about how Winter Haven Aeronautical will play into this conversation as well, moving ahead. I know we didn't discuss that earlier today, but I was just thinking about that as I was reflecting on the mayor's breakfast. But that might be something that we need to address in days ahead.
Dr. Allen, they are. So when I did the analysis of all the other subsequent programs, Winter Haven's aeronautical program, when I spoke to Principal Williams earlier today, verified that they have 187 student enrollment there. Ms. Williams herself actually oversees that program as the building principal. She has assigned and delegated her other programs across two other individuals, both Mr. Horn and Phoebus. Nikki Jordan oversees technobotics, and I am remiss, I don't recall if it's Mr. or Mrs. Holby is over the medical program with 513 students. Only 2 of those positions would require enhancements. The others are already AP 12s, and obviously the principal. So that is included in this.
All right.
And the change has been made, Ms. Cunningham.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Any further discussion? Ms. Fields.
I just want to thank the superintendent for going back and attaching the outline of the benefits and the salaries so that it can be seen that this is an upgrade.
Yes, ma'am.
And an increase in pay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
And the motion carries 6-1. All right, the next item on our agenda is the superintendent's report. Superintendent Hyde?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, I have a couple of quick announcements to share. Number one, the lady sitting immediately to my right is my executive administrative assistant. It is her birthday today. I will not say how young she is, but I do want to wish her sincerely a very happy birthday, which is why she's been showered with gifts today. Second to that, I'd like to congratulate Ms. Copeland, who apparently has already left. But Ms. Copeland and an amazing team of individuals carried off our first ever Clays for Classrooms event. They raised $36,000 was the initial estimate. I can assure you, thank you to Marissa and to everyone else who was there, who helped support that program. We were very surprised that the company and the organization that was helping us facilitate the event, unbeknownst to us, surprised us with a $10,000 donation. And I will tell you that Ms. Miller carried the team. I was not a very good shot that evening. We did not, no one was in jeopardy of losing to us that evening. But we had a great time. It was a great event and something we look forward to. They never anticipated having 27, 28 teams. It's my understanding that number will grow significantly next year as well. I want to say congratulations to the Auburndale Bells on their participation over in Orlando. I'm trying to get their final placement. They placed in several divisions, so congratulations to them. Ridge High School, we want to make sure that we recognize their team who came in on a Saturday and helped deploy almost 350 student laptops to help support our one-to-one transition, so very proud of their work. Brandon Abden from Lake Gibson is a third-year repeater, state champion in wrestling, so congratulations to him. Kathleen High School's Jeremiah Jackson is a very intimidating figure of a young man, and he won state championship, so congratulations to him. And I want to wrap up part of the superintendent's report tonight by saying, you know, oftentimes we hear in public education there's a lot of frustration about how students treat each other or don't treat each other respectfully or with a high level of appreciation for each other. Well, today was not that case. Davenport High School student athletes stepped up and provided support to one of their peers in just an amazing way through donation of supplies and clothing and things of that nature. And it has gone viral because it was posted earlier today. But I want to say kudos to that team. You know, that's a great life lesson, and whichever adults help facilitate that, or if they did it on their own volition, what a great testament as to the students that we have and how they look out for each other. And very impressed by that, and I did not want today to go by without acknowledging that. So, Ms. Cunningham, I know that's the school in your area. You should be very proud, and I know I'm very proud of those students, but it is on social media for all to see. So the last part of the superintendent's report, the next work session will be held on April 12th, 2022. The work session will begin at 12:30 p.m. and will be held at the Jim Miles Professional Development Center located at 4270 Wallace Road in Lakeland. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Superintendent Hyde. And we now have our attorney's report. Mr. Bridges?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Request authority to advertise a public hearing for the Student Code of Conduct changes to be held on April 26th, 2022.
And I will seek a motion for that request.
Move approval?
Second.
Mr. Wilson and Ms. Cunningham. And any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the motion any opposed? And the motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And my office will also prepare the public notice for the public hearing and the board meeting for the instructional materials adoption, as we discussed earlier today.
Thank you, Mr. Bridges.
Yes, ma'am.
And we will now go on to our board members' reports. Dr. Allen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to say, thanks to Steve Cochran, Jeanette Crowley, and Dan Talbert. It was good to see them in audience at this week's Mayor's Breakfast in Lakeland. That hangar was just packed in support of our mayor, but also just really solidifying the partnership that the city of Lakeland has with the Polk County School Board, and then that future expansion as well in Winter Haven, and just giving that overall vision for that. That was a great event to be in attendance. And then I just wanted to give a quick thanks to Travis Technical College. For quite some time, I've had family members that have utilized some of their dental services that the students provide to our community. And I had the opportunity to drop one of those family members off this week who had a root canal conducted on the campus at Travis this week, and they did come out all right and seemed like they were in good spirits. So just thought that was a pretty cool experience. So just really thankful for that opportunity and how they service our community in some unique ways. Then also, I know that's like right behind the screen that you're watching, all the technical capacity that's, giving us this visual is Jessica Hall. She's sitting behind the switcher back there. I think she was there earlier at 12:30 today. It's been a long day, but I'm sure she's still there. She did come join one of my classes this week. It was a documentary class, and I had a full group of students pitching out documentary ideas, and she was there just offering some of her insight, which was quite enjoyable and thoughtful and extremely professional. Got a good opportunity for our communication staff to demonstrate their excellence in what they do within their discipline. So very appreciative of Jessica Hall and you taking time to spend a little bit of your time in my classroom. I just wrapped up my last rounds within District 1 schools, had a chance to basically get 2 rounds with all District 1 schools in my first year here within this seat. So pretty exciting opportunity just to be in our classrooms, to visit around, connect with our admins, teachers, and just see the amazing work that they're doing. I do carry this really large pencil around, and I typically am very hesitant to say that I'm a pencil historian. But when students see that large pencil, they're like, what is up with the large pencil? Does it write? They're asking all kinds of questions. And sometimes the admins will put me on the spot and have me probe a little bit of my pencil history. So a little bit of our pencil history tonight, because I think it really connects with hopefully what some of our goals are within the district as well. But have you ever thought about why the ridges are on the pencil? A lot of times they say the ridges on the pencil is to actually stop the pencil from rolling off the desk historically, because if you remember, the desks were a little bit slanted. However, the reason the ridges are on the pencil is so that you can actually get more wood and utilize and get more pencils out of a slat of wood. So it was more from an economic benefit and thinking about how to utilize your resources more wisely. And I hope that's what we do as school board members, and I think we should value that. And then I was just really humbled. I was calculating how many words we got on the Bartow IB situation earlier this week, and I said there was 57 words that were not in support of that, and about 14,000+ words in support of giving autonomy to our head of schools. And I got an email that just really moved me, and it actually came from my former principal at Bartow High School. 30 years ago, Ernie Cooper was the principal at Bartow High School. And, I was really moved by the words, and hopefully we came to a great vote on that definitely does honor the autonomy, and we keep that accountable in that. But he ended his email with this statement, and it really just brought a flood of memories back of my time growing up in Bartow. But he says, "You certainly are helping prove that together we make great things happen." And if you know anything about Ernie Cooper, and I read that phrase off to one of my friends from high school, and he remembered it right off the bat. And he used to say it all the time. It's because you're here and we're here, and together we make great things happen. That's all I have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. Ms. Cunningham?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to take a minute to ask a point of privilege for a moment of silence on behalf of men and women and children that are in Ukraine. War is so devastating and it's so catastrophic. And we know families that have been impacted. I know that Mr. Wilson's been gracious to put something on social media. His daughter and son-in-law are in Poland, and they're helping people to escape. We each have our own set of world that we live in, but nothing compares to that. So if you would indulge me in a moment of prayer. Thank you so much, and may God bless those poor people, and thank anyone who can help them in any small way is so appreciated. Thank you, Madam Chair. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. Ms. Fortney?
Yeah, my heartfelt condolences to the Rochelle School of the Arts family and the Bates family for their great loss. It was heartbreaking. To our retirees, I want to thank you for your service, and please enjoy. You have definitely earned it. To our maintenance staff, keeping our schools up and running, and of course clean. There was a couple of days there where we could recognize you, but it was before the board meeting, and April is actually full of recognitions. The first few weeks, we have occupational therapist, school librarian week, assistant principal week, paraprofessional day, administrative professional day, and then we get to, thank goodness, spring break. If you are able, relax, recharge if you don't have a second or third job, which I know a lot of people do. And remember, pre-K through 12 public schools just do it better. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fortney. Ms. Fields?
Thank you. I just had a couple of items. I had a chance to attend the production at Harrison on Saturday, Once Upon a Mattress, and it was an amazing performance by the students, and we have so many talented students within our county. And one of the things that occurred during the time there was the principal acknowledge the passing of the Bates, Mr. Bates and Aaron, and they were very, very saddened. So we want to extend our condolences to the family. As Ms. Fortney said a few minutes ago, and do whatever we can to support them through this process. Also, last month, we had a lot of speakers, and I didn't want to delay them being able to have their comments, so I wanted to thank Dr. Ben Henry for taking me to Highlands Grove to witness firsthand the experience of Neopod. And I got a chance to go to some of the classrooms and saw firsthand how engaged the students were with the program and the teachers as well. And then I want to thank Ms. Usher and Mr. Duncans for taking me to Bellicita to look at that beautiful school, such an amazing campus. And I would encourage every board member to go firsthand and experience what we're able to do because of the support from our community with our sales tax dollars. And then I got a chance to go to Davenport High School. Again, another beautiful facility. Again, go, board members, if you have not had a chance to go and see exactly the excellent work that we have going on, not just into the classrooms, but also how beautiful the facility is. And I think that might be it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fields. And Mr. Wilson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to take a moment to recognize and congratulate Ms. Reynolds Wyatt on her appointment as CEO of the Winter Haven Chamber. I'm sure the City of Winter Haven will benefit richly from that appointment.
Thank you.
And that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. And Ms. Miller?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Wilson, for bringing that up. I think that was a great accomplishment. I just want to mention a couple of things. First, Pete Galacco and the Galacco Family Ranch that allowed us and had the vision of a night clay shoot. I know people were very nervous about that, but there was a great showing. The firefighters serving chili and all of the silent auction items. It really went to a great cause. And I have found a new hobby in my old age, and next year I will not get anywhere near Jason Pitts, who is a sharpshooter. But I will keep practicing and hopefully make the superintendent proud when we gain points next year. But that was a great event. It was a great event for the community and also for the people who really want to give to our Polk Education Foundation and our students and love to find new ways to do that. I mean, Lakeland and Polk County is a giving community. There's only so many things you can go to. So thinking of outside of the box of neat things to do, that was definitely something that had never been done before, and I think it was very successful. I spent a few days, and I have one more site to visit on our correctional facilities and our juvenile justice programs. I don't know, you may not know that. A lot of people think they know what we do in public schools, and yet they really don't know the vast spectrum of students that we serve. But going to a halfway house and having a young man show you around and talk about what he does in education and how proud he is of his work and, you know, his plans for the future, it really it brought up a new idea. And I make one comment on social media and I have all these people want to help because that's our community and that's what we have, people that really want to give back. So I'm hoping to work with the superintendent and staff to make it easier to volunteer and, you know, kind of guide these people either through faith-based organizations or nonprofits that we already have so they can become connected to these kids. I mean, for one child to write in a letter that all he really needed was hope, I think that we can give him that and so much more. So I appreciate the people that spend time in that community. A lot of people will write those children off quickly, and they just need that one mentor. And that's truly doing what we're here to do to help mentor kids. So I was glad to see that program. I'll be visiting South County Jail, which is hard for me because it's students 18 to 22 with disabilities. And our jails are full of those kids. And so how can we meet their needs or what can we put in place maybe with volunteer programs to prevent more of those incarcerations? So if you haven't done that, there's a lot of places that board members can't get to everything, but I encourage my peers to take a minute to see those different programs. And talking about family, the turnout and support for the Bates family, Aaron and AJ, losing them, and seeing what the community did to help support that family during a time of need. That's who we are. That's who Polk County is. That's who Polk County Public Schools is. And I'm so proud to be a part of this. Sometimes I just invite people to come see what we really do to understand where our heart's at and helping this community. So I want to say thank you to all of those people who are still working to make that family feel surrounded with love. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. And just briefly, I was just going to remind the board that we have strategic planning on Friday, which I know you're all really excited about. And then I hope to see you all at our Garner ribbon cutting on Thursday morning. And Miss Miller, I will happily join your team next year for the clay shooting. So if any other board members are interested, I know that is her dream, is to have a board team, so.
Wait a second, who just got bumped?
We're going to create 2 teams. It will no longer be just Team Heed, Team Hyde. They kept saying his name wrong. We'll have a board. We'll have a board team as well. Marissa, I'm trying to talk into that, and I learned that Carol is great with a rifle. So I think we have people ready.
So Ms. Miller will be our team captain. If you're interested in joining, please let her know. You have a year to practice, is what it sounds like. So we will now move on to public comments for our non-agenda items. And just as before, to register to speak, community members must have filled out a card in the lobby prior to the meeting. All speakers will be given 3 minutes. The clock will give you a warning sound when you have 1 minute left and when you have 30 seconds left. Please note that although the board encourages community participation, no immediate action will be taken on items presented during this public comment portion of the meeting. If follow-up board action is required, then the matter may be placed on an agenda at a subsequent meeting in accordance with school board policy. So first on our list will be Ms. Pam Luce, and then on deck will be Josette Twait.
Good evening, I'm Pam Luce. Do I need to give my address?
No, ma'am, just your name.
All right. It's really good to see all of you tonight, and happy birthday, Wendy. I guess I really filled out the wrong card. I should have filled out one that was for speaking for an item on the agenda, because I'd like to speak for just a minute about the MSAP grant. Very exciting opportunity for the school district to get this money. But as you all know, I recently retired from facilities planning, and part of my responsibilities were tracking and gathering the data behind all of these things and rezonings, et cetera. So school choice is exciting, but I was really excited at some of your questions this morning or this afternoon in the work session, because I do have some concerns about when we open a new magnet school, and I think you all have seen it too, that sometimes when we open the magnet school and we do rezone to another school, can watch it for a year or so, can track it for a year or so, because in the beginning, everyone works really hard to get people in the neighborhood to go to that school. But you start watching it year after year after year, and you see fewer and fewer of those in the neighborhood who are usually underserved, because that's where we put magnet schools, are being bused to other schools. And then we begin to see other schools, and I can think of two specifically, that they begin to fall and become a turnaround school. So it can become a domino effect. So I'm glad for these opportunities, I'm glad for this, but please let's be sure we keep our eye on the neighborhood and those children that need to be served and can be served and can learn. And then the other thing is Garner is a concern. I'm glad you brought that up this morning, Ms. Miller. I took some time to take a look, and there is really no other school in that area that's not already either at capacity or very close to capacity that could take on the zoning from those schools. And you can ask staff to provide you that information. But I just wanted to let you know of my concerns about this. So I'm sorry I spoke late. And it's good to see all of you.
Thank you, Ms. Luce. All right, next will be Josette Twait, and then on deck will be Luella Phillips. Whenever you're ready.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Josette Twait. I am a teacher at Kathleen High School, Central Florida Aerospace Academy, located within District 5. I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of school and staff shortages. There are an overwhelming number of staff shortages within Polk County schools, which I'm sure you are aware. Currently, we are facing paraprofessional teachers, school bus driver, and other personnel shortages. My question to the board is, what are we doing to attract new personnel within Polk County Schools? Kathleen High School's academic, elective, and academy courses are facing a large number of teacher and school personnel vacancies. Our students are directly affected by the lack of personnel within their schools. There are currently 7 openings just within Kathleen High School alone, and students are being taught by substitutes. Due to a lack of substitutes, we struggle daily to cover classes. We have students being taught by substitutes for entire semesters because we lack certified teachers. There are openings for full-time secretary, a full-time night custodian, and 2 paraprofessionals just within that one school. We also have students that are 15 to 20 minutes late daily to CFAA, therefore missing up to 100 minutes of instruction weekly because we lack bus drivers to get them to school at Central Florida Aerospace Academy on time. Job fairs and minimal raises in salary are not working to attract school personnel. And I'm asking, what else is the school board doing in conjunction with the superintendent personnel department to attract qualified teachers, paraprofessionals, school bus drivers, and other school board personnel to Polk County schools? We need concepts that are unconventional to address the issue that affects the entire county in the field of education. My questions are, has the school board considered working with local rental agencies and apartment complexes to offer discounts on deposits for to Polk County school personnel to attract them to the county? When the school district hired and monitored their own substitutes, the sub shortage that's now rampant was not an issue. Is the school board considering monitoring their own substitutes again? Has the board considered providing subsidized licensed childcare for birth to school-age children for school board personnel? And finally, has the board considered an energy audit of the county's buildings? After an energy audit at a school in Batesville, Arkansas, they installed solar panels and invested in other new energy infrastructures. The school district turned a $250,000 annual budget deficit into a $1.8 million surplus, resulting in teacher and staff raises. So I feel the time has come to consider unconventional options to attract school board personnel to our county. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And Luella Phillips, and then on deck is Christina Gilman.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you doing
My name is
today?
Luella Phillips, and I'm from Mulberry, and I don't want to come up here raising heck and thinking I know what's going on in Polk County schools. I'm 54 years old, and things have changed. I will say that I'm a court-appointed guardian of 3 children. As we well know, court-appointed children have issues on their own most of the time in their history. I want to point out that 2 of my children have had to be withdrawn from Mulberry Middle School because Mulberry Middle School is a violent school. My children come home, when they did come home, for the last couple of months that I had them there, they would say there was at least 2 to 3 fights a day in that school, and not just single fights between students, just gang groups. My son has been attacked on 2 occasions in the classroom. On one occasion, the teacher was on a cell phone. The other occasion, the teacher didn't notice, but my son was getting punched in the doorway. We did make incident reports on that. I've yet to receive a copy of those. The other students chased him down the hallway. 3 students chased him down the hallway, and I was fed up. My oldest, Brianna, she's 13. She's an IEP student. And they were all very excited to go back to school because I homeschooled them for over a year, mainly because of the pandemic and because they were new to just the history with these children. But either way, I want to point out that Brianna was bullied in class also. Children were taking her school bags while they're in the classroom, emptying it out, taking her stuff out and throwing it around the classroom like it was a ball, and nobody paid attention to it. I asked her where the teacher was, and she said the teacher was busy with another student. Now, my issue is I've made incident reports. I've done what I need to do. I know you guys are doing your best when it comes to the bullying issues, because it's all new to, especially as older people. I think the first fight I ever saw in high school, in fact, I never saw one in high school, and I was in Mulberry. I did see one in Mulberry Middle, and I was in it in 6th grade. But that's the only fight. I mean, it wasn't like that, and things are different now. And I realize that Mulberry is a low-income area. But something needs to be done. A day in school suspension for kids who chase down children because they're gay or because they're disabled like my children are, or bisexual, or for whatever reason, just to be bullied. Something needs to be done. And I know resources are low. You guys are probably up to here. Transportation is an issue with me as well. I never know when she's gonna get home, between 4:30 or 3:30 or whenever. I don't know when she's coming home half the time. But I wanna make it clear that my children are not disposable or expendable. They are children, and they need your help. Bullying is an issue, and I wanna point out that when I asked for help, which I did get help from the school board, I called, they were immediately on the phone with the principal. The principal called me, he tried to handle the issue, but the issue was not handled correctly because when my son made written reports and my daughter made written reports, I've yet been able to receive copies of them. And there were things that were reported that were later told, oh, well, we just investigated and played it off as boys doing their thing. It wasn't, when a boy says, jumping when we go down the hall, excuse me, but I just want to point this out. When 3 boys are chasing my son and saying we're gonna jump him when we get out of class, that's not playing it off as boys play. That's an issue.
Mr. Hyde, can we have staff meet with her out?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Green can follow her out.
Our Deputy Superintendent, Mr. Green's going to meet with you right outside, if that's all right. And last but not least is Christina Gilman.
My name is Christina Gilman. Again, bullying in Polk County, especially in a Mulberry school. I've contacted y'all, I've contacted the school. Nothing has been done. My child has autism. She's 10 years old. Y'all want to put her on the bus with high school students and middle school students. You just heard middle school worse than elementary. Who knows how high school works? How am I supposed to get help? Who am I supposed to go to? I mean, I've done everything. I've reported it to the school, to the driver. Driver don't care, school don't care. What's my next step, please? Because I'm ready to take her out of Polk County. So I need some answers, please.
Dr. Lutz is aware of this situation, has addressed it on numerous times, but he's more than happy to follow her outside and continue to address the issue.
Okay, because nothing has been done at all. I've tried to transfer her, and I've been told no, several occasions. I've been told there's nothing we can do about the bullying. To my knowledge, I was told any bullies on the bus, they were gonna be off the bus. They're not. My child is still being tormented, and now she cannot ride the bus because there's no attendant as to her IEP. So, I mean, I need help.
Dr. Lutz is available.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, and with no further business to come before the board, that will conclude our meeting.